Good morning, everyone. Thanks a lot to be there with us for a new Campus France Live, a new live dedicated to higher education in France. And today we're going to discover Excelia Business School, its program and the different campuses. And today I'm very pleased to welcome Caroline O'Neill. Hi.
Hello,
you're instructional designer at Excelia. We're also with Gonzalo Garzo Fernandez. Hi. You're the director of the Bachelor in Communication and Digital Strategies, and we're also with a BBA student, Vojta. Hi, Vojta.
Hello.
Thanks a lot to be there with us. You can ask all your questions in the different chat section, but to begin, Gonzalo, can you introduce yourself in a few words and tell us what you do at Excelia?
For being here, so I'm director of programs of Excelia Digital School. So Excelia Digital School is one of the 5 schools in Excelia. So I can present Excelia now or later if you want.
Yes, you can. You can tell us a few words about Excelia and describe the school.
Perfect. So as I said, Excelia Digital School is one of the 5 schools in Excelia. So this is the biggest one. That's this Excelia Business School with programs of Master Grand École or Bachelor Business and Administration, International, Bachelor Business, and Master of Science. There is a tourism school with Bachelor of Tourism and also Master in Tourism and Hospitality. And there's Excelia Academy with Bachelor first years and with other programs in for example, health. And also there is Excelia Executive Education with programs for companies.
And what are the different major fields in which it's possible to specialize?
So the different fields are the main one is business and business with our business school. So we can choose between business international and also bachelor business, more general. There is a second field that is in business. We can also specialize in fields like marketing or human resources or finance. There is a second field that is tourism. Where you can specialize tourism, but especially hospitality, and so this is the main fields, and I can maybe my colleague Caroline can complete my answer.
Yeah, Caroline, can you describe maybe a little bit what the student can do at Excelia?
Well, first of all, they can have a great experience of learning. I think that's definitely something that we try to offer. And also, I mean, I think Gonzalo spoke about like the different school units we have. But I think also what we carry are within those schools, there are a few industries that we tend to try to specialize in business. And so luxury and brand management is one of the specialities that we emphasize. And also one of our strong and also strategic axes is sustainable development and corporate social responsibility, that we have like a whole master's dedicated to this part of business, of doing business.
And what are the different accreditations of the schools?
Well, that's very important in the business world and the business school world. So we say that we're triple crowned, which in the business school world is very important, which means that we're accredited of ACSB, which is an American, the most prestigious American accreditation system. Also EMBA for our master's programs, and EQUIS, which is the European standardization of quality.
And in terms of ranking, are you progressing?
Oh yes, we're very proud because we've been progressing nonstop in the past 10 years, and we're very well ranked in the Financial Times ranking of business schools. I think it's 15th in France of the French business schools, and in the top 50 of the international business schools.
Gonzalo, can you tell us a few words about the different campuses that you offer? What can we study when we are at Excelia?
The different fields, so yeah, different fields are, for example, management, business, tourism, digital communication, for example, and also international trainings or trainings and programs dedicated to work international trade. It's important also to know that there are programs in English and also in French, and yeah, so that's it.
And what is the life like in each of these cities? Caroline, how would you describe the spirit that we have in the different cities?
Okay, so Excelia has 3 campuses and 6 locations in France. And I think they're also, I mean, there's Paris. We have a location based in Paris for the BBA program, but mostly our biggest campus is in La Rochelle. So that's, it's a coast city. So it's very like coastal life. So that's lovely, a lot of sailing, and it's a small enough city, but at the same time it offers a lot. Also, we have campus in Tours, which is in the Loire Valley, so the wine region. So the students love that area, and also Orléans, which is a small enough city, smaller than Paris, but very close to Paris. And I think the atmosphere on the campus, but maybe Viota can tell us more. I think they're very friendly campus. Yeah. We also have a location in Niort. Yeah, in Niortec. So that's.
And there is a new campus arriving in Paris. You also offer programs in Paris?
Yeah, okay. So recently, for the past 2 years now, we've promoted a partnership with intercultural school where we share a location in Paris.
So there is a plenty
international business.
There is plenty of opportunities when you want to study at Excelia, and you can decide which city you want to visit in France. Voita, you're I said that earlier, a BBA student. Can you first introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from and why you decided to choose Excelia and this program.
Well, I'm from Czech Republic. I'm 22 years old. And basically why I chose to study at Excelia was because of its international dimension. Because with Excelia, what we can do is we can travel a lot. We can have a lot of international internships, which for me, as a student of international business, is very important. So basically, that was the main reason I studied Bachelor in Business Administration. I'm in the English track. That means that we have 100% of the classes in English. So that's why I chose it. And also, as Caroline said, it's also for the campus in La Rochelle, which is a coastal city, and it's just like beautiful to live there. So.
Can you describe a little bit the campus, where it's located, and the different activities that you have at La Rochelle?
Yeah, so the campus is located really close to the coast. So basically, during your lunch break, you can just go to the beach and have your lunch at the beach, which is pretty amazing. Also, the campus is kind of small, but I see it as an advantage because you get to know all your peers or your colleagues. You can spend your free time at school with them. You have a lot of facilities where you can play, for example, pool, or you can play like the baby food, and that's really good activity to get together. And also the city, you have many activities. You can go for a sailing, or you can try surfing, which is not far away from La Rochelle. You can go to Ile d'Orléans or whatever, and there is a lot of bars and restaurants, so the nightlife there is very good as well.
We're now going to talk about the different programs and the pedagogy of Excelia. Caroline, how is the teaching and learning organized in the school?
So I'm an instructional designer, as you said. So my team is responsible for the quality and also to promote innovative projects around teaching and learning. I think if we had to describe just in one word what we imagine when we design learning experiences, is that we talk about experiential learning. And what we mean by experiential learning is that we want to offer and promote many different, like very diverse experiences for learning. So academic learning, of course, we have a very strong faculty and very qualified faculty members. But hands-on learning also in companies. We have many partnerships with local companies that are willing either to come in and do master classes, or to have you come to their companies and see how it's going on. And then through internships would be like the third kind of axis of how you practical learning by doing.
And what is the balance between practical and theoretical courses?
So it really depends on the program you choose. Some programs are more vocational than others. Typically, if you decide to do study training, work study programs, 50% of the time or 70% of the time you're going to be working. So it depends on the path you choose for yourself and how vocational the program you chose is. All programs offer internships.
And that's really important. We're going to talk about the way the professional world is included in the different programs. Gonzalo, as we said, you're studying in the BBA. You're a BBA student. Can you describe a little bit what the different classes that you have are? What do you study concretely, and how do you study them?
Not for me, no, not for Gonzalo.
Not for Gonzalo.
For a
sorry,
student.
it was for Wojciech. Sorry, Wojciech.
Yeah.
Okay. I was surprised. I thought it was for me, but it's okay. Well, as Caroline said, my favorite classes are probably the one which are done by the professionals who come to our school and teach us about the professional environment, about the real things which happen in the companies. So you can really be in touch with the real world and kind of connect the theoretical knowledge we get from the academic professors together with the professional knowledge of the professionals. So that's great. For example, we had a great class about entrepreneurship. So we learned a lot how to start our own business, how to finance it. We also had some classes about personal finances, which I think it's not really common in other universities. So that's a big plus. Also, I think it's really important that we have a choice for one or two foreign languages. So, for example, I was studying Spanish and Russian, which also helped me to develop better my personal project and professional project. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Gonzalo, what is the idea of the pedagogy? Is to discover the different the different knowledge that you need to have when you want to work in the business field, and then to apply them with concrete project. That's the idea.
The idea, as Caroline said, we focus on one learning concept, that's experiential learning or learning by doing. Of course, we have some lectures and some teachers that researchers that teach theory and important content for understanding the different aspects of business, but we have a big amount of projects in connection to the companies and in connection to the real field. So this is one of the signs of our school, and another sign is the hybridization of business and other fields. Business, for example, and tourism, business and communication, or also business and design, or other new fields like health, or like sport, for example, in the future. So this is one of the signs of our school. And you asked me also for application. About the application?
We're going to talk about that in a few seconds.
Okay.
Just a last question for you, Caroline, regarding the program. Is it possible to learn French during the program when you're a non-French speaker?
Well, actually, it's more than possible. It's highly recommended. So when international students, so about 25% of our students are international students, so and usually non-French speakers. So when you arrive on the first day, so we have like international students induction days, where your French level is tested, and then the school offers international students French lessons. That's part of the deal. It's part of the deal, and also quite important when you live in France, I think, to try to integrate society or the communities as much as you can.
And we're now going to talk about the admission process, how to join one of the program of Excelia. Gonzalo, first question, what background do you require to apply?
But the background for our program, especially for our programs first, second year, you need to have a sensitiveness for business, for management, but we don't ask for a special background or a particular background for our student. Especially, we focus on motivation and this sensitiveness for the international field, for business, for tourism, for the digital field. So this is the main point for us, for students, and this aspect that wanting to be to perform, to work in team, and and this is the kind of things that we prioritize in our students, the motivation.
And what are the different steps to apply to one of the program?
So we have to say that we can do everything online. The first step is an online application that you can find in our website, and after the second step there will be an online interview with one of our platforms, so we can do everything from our place, our country, the city where we live.
Can you maybe, Vojta, describe a little bit how your application process went? What were the different documents? What were the different elements that you have to give to apply? And then how did your little online application went?
So all the specific documents you can find in our website, but one different document that is important for us is the visa, like so you have to ask, and depending on the country and depending on the connection between your country and France, it's important to be informed of that, and also do it with enough time before the start, before the rentrée, before the beginning of the training. And also one important thing to know is about you can apply anytime during the year. We can start programs in January or in September, and we can apply in any moment of the year. And it's better to apply, as I said before, with enough time before to prepare, to be ready, especially for this administration connected to the country, to the residency, and to the student visa. So that's it. We can also start this administration procedure, very fast after the interview, like 6 days after the interview. You can start this process of applying. Sorry, to administration inscription.
Thanks a lot, Gonzalo, for all these different steps. Maybe we will have a little testimony of Vojta. Can you describe how it went for you, the application process?
Yes, of course. I started my application when I already was in France, so I didn't have to do it online. I did it on campus. But basically, it was pretty much just similar. I had to send them my CV, a cover letter, and also the proof of my English level. Then once all the documents were okay, and they decided to do an interview with me, so I went for the interview at school. The interview was in English, so they also could see if my level of English is sufficient. And once I passed the interview, it was all good. I just had to wait for 4 days. It was for the admission, and then I got accepted and I started to study there.
And we're going to focus with you on two important points for me. The first one is you just talked about the cover letter. What did you put inside? What were the information that you wrote in your letter?
Well, I was trying to be just honest, so I told everything as it was, which is my advice for future applicants. Just be you, because what I think Excelia is looking for diversity. They're looking for a different type of people, because more diverse people, more diverse environment, and better the teaching and learning goes. But what I put inside was basically my motivation to study there. Also, a little bit of experience with France and international studies. And I also mentioned my good academic results. And also, I was talking a little bit about my passions and about my future plans, how the studies at Excelia will help me to achieve it. And I think it's also important to show the school that you know why you want to study this program. Because if we don't know why we're going to study it, we're not that interesting for the school.
And during the interview, what were the different kind of questions that you had? What is it focused on your background? What is it focused on what you wanted to do, what you want to do after? How was the interview for you?
It was basically my first interview, so I was a little bit scared when I did it. But now when I've done more interviews, I would say it's more or less the same interview as you pass it as a job interview. So there were the basic questions about your background, about your skills, what are your strong sides, what are your weaknesses, and also they asked me about like my future plans. What do you think? Why do you want to study there? What do you think? How do you think Excelia will help you to achieve your goals, etc. So.
Caroline, you confirmed that you're looking for diverse candidates. You're looking for a different profile. There is no one profile to apply to Excelia.
Yeah, and I think actually it's the opposite that we're trying to achieve. Like I know, like we're not looking to standardize education or standardize learning or standardize profiles, and I think that's key. So I think what Wojciech said, it's key is like being yourself and knowing why you're there. I think there's nothing worse than being clueless about why you've chosen this path. It doesn't mean that you have to know what you want to do in the future, but understand why you're there and what's interesting about being with us here. And this reflects in the learning strategies also that we try to put in place, the teaching and learning strategies. We try to adapt and individualize learning also through techniques like learning portfolios, projects where you're in small teams and you get to decide the strategies of your team. So yeah, definitely diversity is one of the key words I think for learning in general, and we are trying to apply it at Excelia.
Gonzalo, we know that sometimes it could seem complicated to come to France. There is a lot of steps regarding the visa. You just talked about it, regarding the accommodation, all of these practical steps that might be a little bit frightening for the students. How do you help international students with all these steps to come to France?
Yeah, of course, the France administration sometimes is not easy, so we understand that that's why we have people dedicated only to accompany and to help the students for this administration process. So there won't be alone, and there will be always accompanied by us by email or by Teams or online. So we have especially a platform with for a location to find a place to stay that you can check. For example, I don't know if we can show this link to this website. It's a special platform to find a place, to find an apartment, to find a studio, a place for a student in La Rochelle.
Yeah, you have a platform dedicated for that. It's on the website of Excelia Group. Then you go to student services and you have all all the different tools to
Yeah.
help prepare your arrival. And we're going to talk about arrival and about student life. Gonzalo, how would you describe the student life on campus?
On campus, on all of our campuses, we have, and also I want to start saying that student life and the comfort and the fact of the students should be happy and should be comfortable and should enjoy their experiential life is so important for us. And we have people only working in it. We have people, for example, working in association, organization, students or associations in different fields. For example, in art or in sports but student life or events, for example. So it's so important for us. We organize events, especially for students. Students organize events for them, even sometimes musical events. We also organize several events connected but for their leisure time and also for their professional life. For example, master classes, or for example, meetings or spaces to meet companies or to understand the new news about the different fields that we offer in Excelia. So so also this is something that I invite the people to check in our website. We also have videos to show everything that we do. That I think is the most important thing that can help the students to take the decision to come to France.
Wojta, there is a real spirit at Excelia. You had the opportunity to do different events, to take part in this event, in this student life.
Oh yeah, that definitely there's a big student spirit. That's one of the best parts about the student life at Excelia, because you have a lot of organizations, student organizations, and all of them are planning all the time many different activities. You have, for example, the art organization or the gastronomic organization. You have the students club, so they're doing parties, dinners, a lot of things. So you're never bored at Excelia. Me personally, I try to go to most of these events. So you get more social life, more contacts, you have fun. Just great to relax from your studies.
And what is, Wojta, your best memory as a student at Excelia? What would it be, your best memory? It could be related to class, or it could be related to the student life or your arrival.
Yeah, I think it's the weekend of integration. It's really a thing you should do, because you arrive to France, you don't know anything about the French culture, you don't know anything about your other students. You're kind of lost because you're the only international student there. But if you take participation in the integration week, that weekend, then you just get integrated. You get to know a lot of people. It's so fun. It's a weekend outside of La Rochelle. You don't know where you're going. The student clubs prepare many activities for you, so you are in groups and teams, and you compete with each other. Also, you have the parties during the night. It's amazing. It's really a thing you should do, and it's one of the best memories I have with Excelia.
Caroline, the idea for you is to give a complete experience to the students. They are at Excelia to study, to work, but also to experience the world, experience the city, experience the interaction between them.
Yeah, and I think totally. Well, I think that's the idea. It's the idea of a business school in general. I think we're not alone doing that. But I think what makes it special for us is that we don't divide it or dissociate it from the learning process. I think we strongly believe that learning is all encompassing, and personal development is key. So wellness is key to being able or to be in the right mindset to learn. So that's why when creating the clubs or when creating the students' organization, the students are supported by the school. It's part of the learning process. It's part of the academic learning process. It's how to handle an association, how to organize parties. how to promote self-development in all areas of your life is integrated into the learning model that we have.
Another important question, Caroline, is regarding the accommodation to find an apartment in the different campuses. How do you help students with all this question, Caroline?
Okay, and that actually is very important, especially some of our campuses being like the La Rochelle campus or the Parisian campus, being in touristic cities in France. It can be a bit challenging to find housing, and I think students need to know this when they travel to another country to really understand how university housing works. In France, it's quite different from the North America, for example. We don't give all-included experience. Housing is not included in the admission process, which can be different in North America, for example. So it's important to know that in France, universities don't propose housing upfront. So you can contact our international help desk services, and they definitely help you, support you within finding housing. Usually it would be like student housing close to the campus, but they can also support you to get private housing. And again, it's key to success. I think being happy, comfortable where you live and where you study is very important. So students shouldn't take it lightly, but the teams check in with students to make sure that they have
everything is
housing.
good, doing great.
Yes.
Yeah. We're now going to talk about the professional world and the way it's integrated in the different programs. First of all, what are the different opportunities for your students to do internship? How does it work, the internship part at Excelia?
So I'm going to say what I said earlier. It really depends on your choice, the path you've chosen for yourself. Have you chosen a more vocational path or a more academic path? Because if you're doing a work-study program, you will be working 70% of the time. So you won't have to do an internship because you'd be working. We have many partnerships with local companies. You can actually, recently it's been possible to do a work study with an international company as a French expat or as an international working for a French company abroad. So that's possible. But most of the international students choose to stay in France, which is lovely. If you decide to take a more academic path, every single program that we have at the school asks you to have an internship or some type of working placement. We have something that's quite specific to Excelia, is that we also require students in all program to do a volunteering mission. So this volunteering mission could take place in France or abroad. Some of the programs that are a bit more international, like the BBA program that Vojta is following, requires you to spend 1 year out of the 4 years in a partner university abroad. And we have partnerships in many international universities and business schools, and the standard for our choice of university is the same that we give to ourselves. So we tend to go towards accredited universities and establishments.
Vojta, can you describe the different opportunities of work that you already have at Excelia?
Yeah, of course. When I started the first year, I had to do the volunteering. So I went for 2.5 months, almost 3 months to Peru. I spent 3 months in Peru taking care of poor children. So it was a great experience for the beginning because you get to know better the other side of the world as well. You get to know that not all the people are doing that well as we are. And when are you continuing to study the business, you keep thinking about it. You keep thinking more socially responsible. I think it's a great step to do that from school. Then I had to do either a summer job or internship. We had a choice, as it was my first year in France and I wasn't fluent enough in French yet, so I decided to do the summer job. I was working in Paris in a 5-star hotel. as a valet. So I didn't have to speak that much, but anyway, it was a great international experience, which helped me to prepare for the other internships I did abroad. My next internship was in Spain, in Madrid. I was working at the embassy of Czech Republic. That was a really interesting internship. It was hard to get there, and I really got a lot of experience there. And now I'm following the work and study track. So it means I'm basically working for 6 weeks, and then for 2 weeks I'm studying, and I'm doing it in La Rochelle, and I'm a manager of a restaurant. So it's pretty amazing as an experience.
A lot of opportunities in a lot of different fields. Caroline, how do you help your students to find all these opportunities? I imagine that they can find it by themselves and look for them, but I imagine that you also offer them tools to find good internships.
Yeah, and actually tools are the right word. I think we believe in supporting students, not doing for students. I think that's important, that they gain autonomy, but that's a life skill, to gain autonomy. So we do expect our students to find opportunities by themselves, but with a lot of support from the school. We have a career center. We have a department that's dedicated to helping students build a strong CV, create connections. Also nowadays, there's a lot of emphasis around networking online, so creating attractive LinkedIn profiles, for example. And also because we have so many companies, local companies that are partners, they also can easily find opportunities with the local partners. But it's important that they come with a personal project too. So together we try to create their personal project.
And what are the different job opportunities for the students after the program?
Again, it really depends on the vocation they've chosen for themselves. I think that if you're out of a bachelor's degree in business or business administration, you can go for top middle management positions in if you've chosen an international track, then in an international company or department. And then if you're more of like a French bachelor's degree, maybe more of a middle management local company. And then if you go into masters, and especially if you specialize in an industry or a field, then you'll be expected to be head of a department in that field or in that specialization, and be part of strategic decisions for a company. Or we also have a full track dedicated to entrepreneurship. So then if your project is to build your own company, then the idea is that you manage to develop your idea, which is super exciting.
And Gonzalo, I imagine that in the digital field there is also plenty of opportunities of work in different sectors.
Yeah, of course. Actually, we have today 3 fields that for now they are proposed in French, but there is one field that is called digital communication that we also propose in English for next year, 1 semester. And yeah, but digital communication and the digital field in general is exploding completely. We have so many students interested in this field, and so many professionals, and the companies are interested more and more in improving the digital communication, and also to do this transition or digital transition in an efficient way. But to mention some positions like communications director, or we have also the chief digital officer, or we have also some jobs connected to the website, some like search engine optimization, and web design, and community management. So there are new positions or all positions that are now being transformed, and new positions that are taking a bigger space and more importance in the professional field. And we have also to finish our mention is there is one field that is data and IT. That data, for example, that is Excelia is now in this field that is attracting so many professional and companies at this moment.
Voita, what do you want to do after your bachelor? Do you already know what you want to do? Do you want to keep on working in the restoration and hotel field, or do you want to change?
No, I've already decided I want to pursue my career in hospitality management. So I'm going to continue my master's degree in hospitality, and then eventually I would like to start my own restaurant or hotel, let's say. That's one thing that I have to thank Excelia for, because thanks to the many opportunities, many internships, I was able to find my passion, try different fields, and once I tried them, I could understand which field is the best for me, and now I can just like completely focus on it. So yes, I'm going to continue in hospitality management.
We're going to conclude this live session with a question that I'm going to ask to all of you. What will be your advice for the students watching us today and wanting women who plan to come to France to study at Excelia? Let's begin with you, Gonzalo. What would be your last advice for the people watching us today?
So my last advice is connected with one of our values in Excelia, that is audacity. So audacity is connected to daring, like dare and come. I know it's sometimes a big decision in somebody's life, but I'm quite sure that this person won't regret this decision. And also, Excelia is a school that is connected to the territory, to the field. So La Rochelle, Orléans, Tours, Paris. So for the international student, it's so rich and so important to come to France, but also to be accompanied, to be helped, to be connected to the place, the city where they live. And Excelia offers especially that.
What would be, Voita, your last advice for the people watching us today?
Well, I would definitely say just do it. Just do it. It means, I know it sounds as a cliche, but for myself, for example, being at Excelia really changed my life. Really changed my life. So if you're looking for an international experience, for many experiences you will never forget and that will really boost your career, go to Excelia. And from personal level, once you'll be at France at Excelia, don't be afraid to speak French. Even though if you're not fluent at all at French or you're just starting, just try to speak French, because then you'll be able to integrate with French people, which are very supportive, even if you make a lot of mistakes. That happened to me. I was doing mistakes, but they were super supportive. And now I have a lot of French friends, and I can have better experience from France because I can better understand the culture. And that's definitely a thing you must do if you're in France or you're missing out.
That's a really good advice. Don't hesitate to speak French. And you, Caroline, what would be your last advice?
I was just going to sound repetitive, but definitely do it. Yeah, do it, because like I've personally never heard an international student that regrets deciding to live abroad. I've lived abroad myself as a student. It was a life-changing experience. And then my second piece of advice would be like, trust yourself, be confident, and think of like confidence and like trusting your gut as like a life skill, and try to develop it the same way you're trying to develop accounting skills or any other skills, because you become excellent in learning or when the motivation comes from within. Yeah. So you don't become excellent if you don't like what you're doing. So that would be my advice.
That's a really good advice. That's a life advice for the people watching us today. Thanks a lot, Caroline, Gonzalo, and Voita, for having been with us today. And thanks to you for having watched us. If you still have questions about Excelia, don't hesitate to visit the website of the school, and see you soon on Campus France Live.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.